hello everybody. This time it is something different. As you can see, we are visible, both of us at the same time. We aren't the same person, contrary to popular belief. That's not a
Hello,
popular belief.
humans.
It is not a popular belief. It is not. I've never seen anyone say that. I don't want to begin this rumor now. We're clearly different people because if you look to that side of me, um, we are in different locations. Anyways, I don't know what. Anytime this camera goes on, I just start doing weird fucking rambling intros, and I don't know why. If you've ever seen an art show video, I always do like a full minute of nonsense that makes no
Yeah.
sense. Um, but yeah, anyways, so this is something new and different. This is the unlicensed show. It is legally distinct from unlicensed, where we cover
Legally.
licensed games. This time we're covering films that some of the licensed games we play are based on. So this time, the format we're doing is we're prioritizing movies that we've already played the games of, sort of. So we're doing a sort of format of where we're trading the pick back and forth. So this time I picked the movie, and I picked Daredevil 2003 because Lennon had not seen it, and I thought it necessary. I thought it
Yeah.
necessary for his life to have seen this film. And so
Now,
we watched the film separately, and we've made notes on the film, and we will now discuss said notes. So what are your immediate thoughts here? What was it you were going to say?
well, like I said earlier, I texted you just saying that movie was ass,
Yeah,
and it was. But um, the thing, like, I thought it was for a movie back then. It suited like the superhero movie genre of like, how do we make this as goofy as possible? Like, I was, that scene in the bar when he's like,
yes.
what's that
Any
clown doing
any
or
of
whatever,
Bullseye's scenes, any of
and
Bullseye's
he's no,
scenes.
not with Bullseye. This is
Oh,
where the bar fight with Daredevil, and
oh
he's like,
yeah.
he throws the baton at your guy at the guy, and he's like, justice or whatever, like just
What do
ripped
you
from Batman.
want? Justice.
Yeah, I was that was great.
So I'm going to
I
put
was
this movie in the most unfair context I can imagine. This movie released in 2003. In 2002, Spider-Man 1 released. In 2004, Spider-Man 2 released. And in
yeah.
2000, X-Men 1 released. So, that's a pretty bad context. But yeah, I suppose for context, this movie was one of those early 2000s attempts at making superheroes cool, because they weren't cool until Daredevil 2003 came out. There was no cool superheroes until this film. And by God, that's what this movie believes. Because Jesus Christ, this film thinks it's the coolest thing ever. So, what we might just start doing is, I guess, I took notes for every scene in the film. Literally, there was no point during the film where I was not taking notes.
Yeah.
Um, so I suppose we'll just start going through the notes. We'll go back and forth a little bit. So the first note that I made was, "Oh, how I missed 2000 CGI."
Yeah.
It's just plastic men. Like it's
Everyone was plasticine, especially like it is the fight scenes were
oh god,
brilliant
just the plastic men.
because of like all the like everyone was like made of elastic, everyone was stretching, everyone was moving.
Yeah, it's just the radar effects. Like, I have multiple notes on the opening credit sequence here, just alone. So during the
Yeah.
opening credit sequence, I wrote a note which said, "Why does this opening credit sequence remind me of The Incredibles?" I don't know why it did. For some reason, I just had that thought in my mind. Even though this came out first, The Incredibles was 2004, if memory serves. So I just had that thought in my mind for some reason. The next thing I said was random jump scares of events from later in the film. Truly horrific.
Yeah, that's the when the movie started off like that, I was very
You
confused.
think it's like
It was
broken. You
just the
think it's
sh
like
it was
an
so
error.
shit. He's there um like after everything that happened, he's at the end of the movie and he's just
Yeah.
contemplating like what's happened of
So right.
Electra and stuff and everything. But
Let's let's talk about this.
goes into like the beginning, like whoa.
So this movie begins in media res, which is a
Yeah.
term to mean the end is the beginning.
Mm.
And that's how you know our movie is art. Our movie is art because we put the end of the film at the beginning. Therefore, we are intelligent intellectuals, and we can discuss superheroes together.
Yeah.
So the the next note I wrote was our introduction to our hero is him eating shit on a church floor. It's the first thing that happens is he falls over. It's the first thing that we
Yeah.
see Daredevil doing. Um, then I wrote, "Oh God, there's narration too." I forgot. So
Yeah, that really I didn't like any of that.
the
Be-
movie has
Ben Affleck's
narration sometimes.
yeah.
Like this is the thing. It's like the Blade Runner narration of where it's like Harrison Ford was intentionally trying to make it terrible because he didn't want them to use it, but then they did. That's what it feels like happened here, where Ben Affleck's just giving the worst line readings humanly possible for this intro sequence, but they just used it. They're like, I'm just gonna
It
keep using
sounds really corny
it. Yeah,
listening to it because like I imagine Ben Affleck's face while he's like talking about this, and it's like he's definitely thinking himself in the zone, like I am Daredevil. These are the lines I have to say, and I say with such heroism. And I was like, nah, this is ass. This is so shit. Straight away, it was so bad.
so
Um,
yeah. Then, like, my next note is a little bit ahead. So, do you have any notes on the opening of this film before we get into the flashbacks?
well, like the actual intro.
Yeah,
I just thought it was like just a mismatch of just terrible special effects and horrible music.
the music is genuinely hilarious. I
Well,
laughed
like
multiple
here's the
times at
thing
the
about
music.
um, not sorry, not, the theme music was, but like the actual like music they used in the movie, like the licensed music. It's well, that's like early 2000s. It's not that bad, but like the placements they used
Oh, yeah.
is, it's I wouldn't have put it there.
So right, let's begin. Let's begin. So my first note of the flashback is bullies are evil,
Yeah.
and one of them says pathetic, as if that's a thing that bullies say, that like 10-year-old bullies say,
Yeah, the blind people. Yeah.
pathetic. And so the next note is drunk dad is barely audible.
Yeah.
I could not understand a word he was saying the entire time he was on screen. I was like, is this intentional? Because he's like, and I'm like, is that a?
I had to turn up the volume like past 50 to watch this.
Some people are whispering all the time, and then some people are like shouting, and then you get whenever there's the radar sense going, and it's like deafening you. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
That radar sense is something we'll have to talk about.
Oh
when we
yeah,
get
we'll
to the
get
bar
to that.
scene,
We'll get
but
to
like,
that.
it's so bad.
It's terrible. Like, so I wrote a note here, which was a quote, which is there's multiple lines here which I have, which are my translations of what these lines in the movie actually mean.
Mm.
So one of the things I wrote here was, "You can do anything, son. Just don't be a bitch." And that
Yeah.
was my translation of Drunk Dad's bad advice. And
Tell
yeah,
him not to fight all the time.
don't fight. Or,
Don't.
yeah, do anything. Just don't be afraid about it. That's
Yeah.
basically what he says. You can do anything you want. Just don't be afraid. They thought the term "man without fear." They were like, we need to work this into every line of dialogue somehow. It needs to be there. Why does everyone know that Daredevil is the man without fear? Did they read the script? Have they read Daredevil comics in the context of the movie? How does this make any sense?
What I love about like his whole origin thing, and it makes no sense.
No, yeah.
But I love it because it's so like hilariously like just I can't even find the words, but it's like, you know, he goes blind, he gets the powers, and somehow he just becomes a ninja like
Yeah.
overnight within like.
So this movie
He's like
does
doing
not
like the
understand.
handstands on the buildings and everything.
This movie does not understand how blindness works or how anything related to it works.
Yeah.
Like, so Yeah, I had Dad is Evil 2 and gives shitty advice. Child is stupid and goes blind. X-Men intro sequence ensues. So whenever he goes blind, they for some reason do like the DNA strand shit going on, and I just had the fucking
Yeah.
X-Men theme in my mind because that's how all the X-Men movies open up. Is one of
He
those
went
like,
blind and got mutated, bro.
and it's like okay, but I actually thought the blind hospital scene wasn't bad, and it's just because no one was talking.
It was, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Because there's no
Just,
dialogue. And I was like, okay, you understand that he has sensitive ears and he can hear everything. It's like, okay,
yeah.
that you understand all that, and they give you a decent idea of it, and it's kind of sad. But then the next note was, oh god, the licensed music, random training montage for no reason.
Yeah.
Um, there's, for some reason, in the middle of just trying to learn how to read Braille, he's like, I'm gonna kick the shit out of this speedball. And the yeah, I wrote a note here which was the speedball is fucking hilarious. Of just that shot of him doing the speedball and his completely expressionless face. It's just something about it is so funny to me.
Somehow, like, it looks like he's remaining so still while he's doing this. With, like,
It's it's so weird. Like everything about it is weird. And then the kid doing parkour is like, do they think that this is how blindness works? When
I
you go
think
blind, you just learn how to do parkour.
the
He couldn't
best,
do
like,
this beforehand.
the best scene from the origin story and like the origin of how he of him learning his powers and everything. And I thought this was like one of the probably the funniest scene in the movie is when he's in that alleyway
Mm.
and the three bullies come up to him and he's he's fighting them, and then he does this kick. He does this like
His
backflip
slow motion flip
kick
kick.
on this guy. And I was like, that guy wasn't even involved in the
No, he
fight at
didn't
all.
do
You
anything.
don't even see
He
him
just kicked his
at
ass
all.
anyways.
He just was like, this just gets him.
Like, so again, my note for that scene was bullies are somehow more evil. Of where it's
Yeah,
like, you picked on him when he could see, and now you're going to pick on him more when he's blind. It's like, these kids are fucking evil.
yeah.
Like, this is especially bad. And then here's another one of my translations of lines from the movie. One of the kids says, I dare you. And I wrote a note here which was, I dare you to be a devil. That would not feel out of place in this movie.
Yeah.
I dare you to be a devil. And then, yeah, when did he learn to do kung fu? When did he learn that? Did they
Yeah, that's what
forget
I'm
to
saying.
include that? Like, did
I had to go back and rewatch it like a few more times, like just him, like not even like just like the training bit, or like
yeah.
even during the fight as well. I was like, I don't remember when, from a point when he went blind in the hospital, and then to the fight. I don't remember when he was doing like.
When did Stick show up in between cuts? Did that
Oh yeah,
happen?
it just happened off screen. Yeah,
Like,
deleted scenes, bro.
God, okay, right. And now this is a thing which I imagine you probably didn't notice this. This is a thing which I imagine you probably didn't notice, which is the constant weird name dropping of comic book writers and artists.
Yeah, no, I did notice
Okay.
that.
They do this throughout the entire film, and I've made a note of every single one of them throughout the film. There's like 15 of them throughout the film.
Yeah.
Almost every minor named character is the name of another character, to the point of interfering with weird things. So, for example, they name drop Miller, Mac, and Bendis. That's the first ones. And so these are comic writers being name dropped for some reason. This will be important for some reason. And also the Stan Lee cameo already happened by this point, because this would have been one of the first films to do that, because Spider-Man was the first film to do that, I think. The first Spider-Man was because it wasn't in any of the X-Men films. He isn't in any of them. He's in one or two of the X-Men films, but not in any of the first ones.
Yeah.
So I think this would have been one of the first ones where they did that. So it's like, okay, that's neat. And so then the next comic person name that you see is John Romita on the sign outside the stadium. And again, this is where I'm like, why did they choose to because that should be Crusher Creel that's on that sign, but it's instead it's Jack Murdoch versus John Romita. And also,
Yeah.
he's not called Battling Jack Murdoch. He's called the Devil Jack Murdoch now. And his robe has the shitty little devil horns on it, and it looks so bad.
Yeah.
Oh
It's like
god,
made in a fucking back door fucking thrift store.
it's so bad.
Really shit done.
It's so
Made on the
bad.
streets of New York.
And yeah,
But
then
my one of the it's with his dad and the whole like message. He was like, "Don't fight, Matt. Don't fight, Maddie." Right? That's his whole message, is telling him not to fight or anything. Then I am skipping a small bit, but like
okay.
when the dad fucking dies.
Well, that's exactly where I was here. Is
Okay, good,
so much
good.
slow mo and
I thought you had.
oversaturated roses.
Yeah, I thought you had a few more things to say, but the dad dies, and then who is he promising that he was going to be a hero? Did you notice that?
Yeah, he
That
made
he
a
just he just
I
says
made a
like,
promise.
okay, I'll be the hero.
I would
Who
I would
who are you
keep my
talking to?
promise.
Your
And
dad said nothing.
so yeah, his dad earlier on in the film makes him promise not to fight. And then
Yeah.
whenever it comes back around to the point where he says, "I would keep my promise and protect the innocent," where did that fit in to the promise? He just said, "Don't fight people." He didn't tell you
Yeah.
to protect the innocent. He didn't give a shit about the innocent. He's like, "Just don't
Yeah.
fight people." It's like, "I would protect the innocent." Where did the disconnect happen? Where did this happen of where he didn't understand what he was being told? Oh god. And so
And then you have this whole sequence
so
skipping forward, and then what is it? I remember he wakes up
oh, before that
in the
we have a thing which I think is really funny. So during his little monologue where he's like, "I would keep my promise," we
yeah.
my note here was, now we're in that one Dolby logo splash animation of where you're seeing the helicopters and the lights and shit,
Oh yeah.
and it now just does a crash zoom into the eyes of the Virgin Mary. I don't know why it did that, but it did. And so yeah, then my next note was, Matt Murdock might just be the cringiest man to have ever lived. He sleeps in a
Yeah.
sensory deprivation chamber and listens to trashy music at max volume.
Yeah. But you think listening like, I need to block out all the sounds of the city. Let me crank this fucking track up all the way. That will help.
And so this is where they just don't understand the sound stuff, because so okay, he blocks out all the noise outside of his apartment with all the loud music,
Yeah.
but he can take music at max volume, but he can't take like a train in a train station. He can't take like
It's too loud.
bells or anything. It's so inconsistent with
He's
the
got the
noise
symbiote,
shit.
bro. It's too loud. Certain volumes. Fuck with him.
They just can't handle it. And so, okay, here's my note of where I'm like, this movie does not understand blindness. So, he went blind. Therefore, he should not have milky blue eyes. He should not have them. You get those milky blue eyes when you're born blind. Not,
Yeah.
Therefore, he should not have milky blue eyes. And I'm fairly certain they're like CGI as well. They're not like, because a lot of the times whenever they zoom in, they look weird. They don't look right. I think they CGI'd them. I don't think they're contacts. Well, they're not contacts all the time, anyways. If they are, but like it's just so bad. It's so weird.
Yeah. It's even looking at the movie alone, because I feel like they CGI'd a lot of unnecessary things as well in that movie. Um, like, and you can tell how bad it is, because even with like even the fight sequences as well, everything is just so um what's the word? It's kind of low quality CGI. Like I know
Weird.
because it's like an old like
Yeah,
superhero movie.
this was the
But
period
then
in time of where there
that's
were.
where you can notice like little bits and
Yeah,
bobs, little bad shading, weird like those little weird fucking lens flare over here
yeah.
that looks terrible shining on fucking like Ben Affleck's face
Mm.
and the outside scenes.
Just yeah. Yeah, it's like they were. It was at that point in time of where they were like, "Oh, we can do this now, so we're just gonna do it." And it's like
Yeah.
they didn't think as they got preoccupied with the fact that they could, and they never thought to ask whether or not they should, because they definitely should not have done it. Because dear God, it looks terrible. Um, So yeah, here's my next note. We now get the courtroom scene of where we are the only scene of in the whole movie of where we see Matt Murdock being a lawyer, and
Yeah. And
so
the accused.
I have so many notes for this scene. So the first note is the rapist is called Quesada. That is
Yeah.
a comic artist. Um, and my note was I don't think Joe Quesada would appreciate that the character named after him is a rapist. I don't think he'd appreciate that. I don't. I think he wouldn't appreciate that so much. And so th- here's another one of my quotes where I'm translating what's being said in the movie. Your Honor, I didn't rape that woman. She liked it. This
Yeah.
is a defense that
Uh,
actually works. Apparently,
I wrote that down straight away when I heard that. That was the only thing
you
I
can say
kind
that
of
in a
like.
court of law.
Oh, I guess he's fine then. Let him go.
So I was like, okay, the only reason Daredevil is a vigilante is because he's a shitty lawyer. He gets into an argument with with the opposition within 2 minutes, and he has no evidence to back up anything before accusing a man of lying in court with no proof.
Yeah.
And this
How
scene,
did they fuck up one of the most important parts of his character? How did they fuck that up?
it's the one scene in the film where he is a lawyer, and he is so bad at it because they don't
It's
understand how the
fine.
law works.
It's fine because he's not the bad guy.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That is an all important piece of dialogue in this film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, okay. Now we jump to the crash zoom into his face into the suiting up montage, which
Oh, this is brilliant.
oh god, he thinks he's so cool in this suit up
He thinks
montage.
he's him.
Fucking spin.
He's just there in the room, like he's in his apartment in the
he's
dark.
just in his apartment doing his moves.
Yeah.
And he's like oh, and he suits up, and then again this is where he then starts CGI jumping around, and I was like, does his
Oh my
blindness
God.
give him indestructible knees and the
This was
ability
gonna
to
say
jump
he
30
jumps
miles through the air?
20 stories off the fucking building
And
and
he's
lands
just
on
fine.
like the cleaning platform. And he's just like, whoa.
His blindness simultaneously makes him completely useless and also completely indestructible.
Oh yeah, they just give him like super knees. He can't take any damage or fall damage or anything. He's
I
all good.
guess they turned fall damage off. That's what happened.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Like,
thought he was gonna like at least like swing from
he does
the
that
bat or
afterwards,
something.
but
Yeah, but like I mean, on that scene where he's jumping 20 fucking stories down the building, I thought he was gonna land on the platform. I know he's gonna swing instead of landing on the platform, which would have made more sense in
it's
terms of Daredevil.
it's so bad. Like, so okay. Here is another one of my quotes. What do you want? Justice.
Yeah,
It's so fucking funny. So then my note was this fight scene made me feel blind and deaf. Um,
the fucking warping,
the warping
the
noise
audio
where it
warping.
sounds like you're in water.
Yeah,
It sounds like your head is in
the,
water.
the audio mixing is the worst I've ever heard.
I'm
in a
pretty sure
movie.
Coolio is in that scene somewhere. That's not even a joke. I think Coolio is actually in that scene somewhere, but I don't remember. I didn't
I
watch the
didn't. s-
director's cut. I watched the
I
theatrical
didn't
cut.
spot him at all, but I wish I did.
He is, I think, in that scene, but I think he only gets a close up in the director's cut. I own the director's cut, but I watched it on Netflix, so because I did not want to sit through 2 full hours of that film. I was like, I'm sitting through an hour and 40 minutes of this movie and no more. I am not
20
sitting.
minutes more? Nope.
I am not sitting through any more of this movie, unless that was 20 more minutes of bullseye scenes. I am not sitting through it. Um, here's another one of my notes. Did he just grind on that guy like a fucking skateboard?
Yeah, I was just reading that.
he,
I was just like, I just wrote gnarly.
he just
It's
he
like-
grinds on a guy like a skateboard. That's a thing that he can do. Low FPS fire. That's another thing that happens as well. I don't know if that's like because I think the Netflix version of the film has been like bumped up. I think its frame rate has been bumped up, so I think
Yeah.
the fire is fucked up or something like that. That might just be the Netflix version, but I'm not sure because
But they get when they get past that bar fight, and he finds the criminal, the rapist,
yeah.
and they go down to the subway. But
So,
he kind of like he does like a half-ass interrogation or whatever, and then like fucking just I wouldn't even call it that, but like he just fucking chucks this guy on the tracks.
okay. So, this sonar shit makes no sense. That was my next note.
It's another thing. He's
Why
like,
would he be able to fight flawlessly in a noisy club but can't handle train noise?
yeah,
He fights flawlessly in a club which is blasting music, but he can't handle an empty train station.
different noises, bro. Reverb is weird. There's people in that room. There's no one in the subway, and he's there like hitting corners and stuff. Like, okay, he's over there. Oh, he's over here. He's over there.
So, yeah, Daredevil is blindsided by a man who fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
And then they watched The Matrix. That was my next note. Because he knocks the guy onto the train tracks and they're like, Mr. Anderson, the that's the sound of inevitability. That's not heaven. That's the 5 o'clock or whatever, the train.
I surprisingly did not actually realize that watching that. I'm writing that down now.
They watched The Matrix. That's the whole movie. Is they watched The Matrix and they were like, I could do that. I could do that. We can make this work. We can do The Matrix.
Let's do it. Let's get some string, a few pulley systems, and see what we can do here.
So yeah, this is the beginning of where you're like, oh, Daredevil's a psychopath in this movie. He enjoyed killing that man like a lot.
Yeah.
Because he like shows up next to him and he's like smiling, and then he tosses him onto the train tracks and he's kind of like making fun of him. Also, that guy was not stuck on the train tracks. He could get up.
Yeah.
He just decided to die.
He was like, I'm done for. This guy is gonna kick my ass. I don't know
If
why
I get back up, he's just gonna knock me down again.
exactly. That I'm gonna get cut in half. And when they like carried him away on the gurney.
In
well.
two halves, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, you're not gonna get the legs?
Yeah. So Daredevil thinks he's so cool that he leaves a burnable logo behind him.
Yeah.
Why does he do that?
I don't know. I
How
think
long
wants
did
to
he
be a bit
spend?
different.
How long did he spend painting the logo in oil on the ground? How long did he spend doing that? Also, how did Ben Urich know that? How did he see it? It was completely invisible. You couldn't see oil on there. Isn't that just a thing that he's figured out now, that you can throw the match down and it'll light it? It's just a thing now.
Look. This is like the supervillain to hero version of Daredevil, where he's like, oh, you'll leave my little mark.
He's super evil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a bad guy in this movie.
He
I
is
know
explicitly the bad
he
guy.
says he isn't.
he
However,
doth
I
protest
beg to
too
differ.
much. He doth
We'll
protest
get
too
into
much.
More why. We'll get into more why.
We'll get
as
to
we go
that.
on.
So okay, why is his apartment so fucking high tech? Why does he have like he's got these like
This is
metal
what I wrote
doors
down.
sliding around and shit? Like
I wrote down. I just wrote Marvel Batman. That's all I wrote down for this version of Daredevil.
he's Red Batman.
Because, yeah, he's Red Batman. Because, like, not only that, I mean, yeah, it's funny because Ben Stiller, Ben
Stiller,
Affleck played, yeah, big ears. Ben Affleck played Batman later on in the decade as well in the Justice League. So I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. But even the way, like, he acts and stuff, like the mannerisms as well. I know
It's
he's
so
blind.
Yeah.
But it just seems like what Bruce Wayne would be like, and then because he's all cocky and stuff, he acts like he's like really rich.
Yeah, it's weird, and they never bring it up. They explicitly tell you that they're poor because they don't get paid in their cases.
Yeah.
They don't get paid. How is he affording this high tech apartment? How is he living?
Yeah.
How is he affording to live in the fucking Batcave? Like,
Comic books, man, they don't have to make sense.
God
Like,
Almighty.
where did Peter Parker get all the gadgets for his fucking web shooters? You don't know.
In the movies, he literally makes he quite
Yeah.
literally makes it, and it's disgusting.
But like even like in like the games and stuff now, it's like all fucking like
in the games, there's a bit of
nanotech
a
and high tech. It's like
it's weird, like dissonance of where they're telling you, oh, he's so broke. He's got 3D printers in his hands. This man is going around with drones and shit. Anyways. Moody
What was I
shower,
gonna say?
check. That was the next note I have.
yeah, that was an unscrubbable scene.
Nice.
I couldn't. That upset me a lot. But skipping forward a small bit,
Okay.
with Foggy and Matt at the little restaurant thing.
Okay.
You know, this is gonna be
Okay.
how creepy
Okay.
Matt
I
is.
have a few tiny notes before we get to that.
Okay,
One of
okay.
the things that happens during the shower scene is he pulls out one of his teeth. And I was like, how do you
Oh, I
hide
forgot about
losing
that.
your teeth on a regular basis? This man has like
Yeah.
four teeth in his mouth. It's like, I, I fall over a lot. It's like, and I was like,
I believe they use that excuse in the show as
that's
well.
explicitly the thing they say in the show, but they never even address it in this movie. They don't even address it,
Yeah.
so no one asks apparently. The next thing I wrote was I beat up one rapist, and that's all I'm going to do tonight. He beat up one criminal. He killed one criminal, and he was like, "Well,
I'm done.
that's me for the
Saved.
night. I have
The city is
saved this
saved.
city." Then I wrote, "Yeah, why does he look either bored or miserable in every scene?" Yeah. So then we get to the diner scene of
Mhm.
where there's a mention of a Mr. Lee. So that's
Yeah.
Stan Lee. Another one of the name drops. And so the next thing I wrote was Foggy thinks it's cool to pass a blind man mustard instead of honey.
Yeah. And
Um,
Matt has to go along with it, like, oh, you got me.
so, right. Matt can smell hot women from the street, and Foggy
Yeah.
thinks this is normal. He doesn't ask. This is normal. This is a thing that's happened before.
Yeah.
Time to
It's like
use my
either
blindness to harass this woman.
it's either Foggy knows he has powers or he just thinks every blind person can smell hot
That's the
women
thing.
around the corner.
Throughout this film, there's multiple times of where Matt does weird shit, and Foggy's like, "Oh, that seems normal." It's like, do you think all
For a
blind
blind
people
person
can do
anyway.
this? Do you think all blind people can do this? And it's like, oh yeah, it's time to use my blindness to harass this woman. So okay, what? I don't have many more notes on this scene before we get to the immediate follow up. So what else do you have
Oh,
on this
yes.
scene?
I pretty much just have the I had like the mustard stuff written down,
Right.
but it's just really creepy. You can smell the woman around the
It's
corner who
so
is
fucking weird.
Jennifer Garner turns the corner, and they
Yeah.
have this weird,
It's the 2000 slow mo woman
scene.
shot.
Yeah, and I actually wrote that down. I actually wrote
Slow
down
mo woman
2000
shot.
slow-mo shot,
Fucking
with like
Christ.
the very like ominous music. But yeah,
The male gaze shot. But ironically, he is blind, so what's the point in doing a male gaze shot? He can't see her.
yeah.
He can't see it,
I
but
mean,
he can smell her.
us. Yeah,
We
yeah,
we
you
are.
can smell
It's
her
made very
from
clear that
around
he
the
can
corner.
smell her.
Yeah,
It's made abundantly clear. So
and the
okay,
follow-up is
she isn't
brilliant.
interested in me. So despite being a lawyer, I'm now going to stalk this woman and commit sexual harassment and assault.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's like grabbing her hands and everything.
it's fucking weird. Okay, so this playground scene is fucking cinema. That's what I
Oh
wrote
my
here.
god,
This playground scene is fucking cinema.
it's like a musical, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's
If you put some
fantastic.
goofy music over it,
It's
it works.
fantastic. This is like this scene is infamous. The playground scene is infamous.
Yeah,
Because like he throws up the stick and then he fucking catches it and he does the Neo hand thing and it's like God, they thought this was so fucking cool. They thought it was so cool. The whole time they had not one thought. No one on set, not one person was like, "This is fucking lame, guys." They were like, "No, fuck off. This is the coolest shit ever put to screen." And they're flipping onto the seesaws and fighting and shit.
man.
And like, okay, so this is my next note is very important here. The kids are now super excited about watching either a woman beat up a blind man, or B, a blind man beat up a woman he just stalked. This is all kinds of fucked. So,
Yeah, and
yeah,
the kids are
beat
kind of
up
like
that
chanting it
blind
on though.
man,
Yeah,
woman.
beat 'em up.
Beat up that blind guy. Hey, blind guy, beat up that woman.
Everyone is so backwards and evil in this
It's
universe. They're
so
like either
fucking
like
weird.
beat up the blind man or beat up the woman. It's not really great.
It's so
Whoever
bad.
directed or wrote this script needs to be checked, I think.
Like there's so
Needs like
much
a
weird shit. Oh my god. I just remembered what the scene after this is. So something which I didn't make a note of, but is important, is that she does beat him. She does actually beat him.
Yeah.
So I guess the kids were cheering for beat up that blind man lady. So the next note I wrote is this movie is racist. Kingpin is black, therefore he must
Yeah.
be introduced with a rap song.
And Foggy says something.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. And so the Kingpin is a criminal. Therefore, the
Yeah.
song says, I'm an outlaw.
Yeah.
This is subtext, people. This is what we call subtext. This scene is very brief. Kingpin shows up, he smokes some cigars and looks evil. And they play the rap song to tell you that he's both the criminal and black. So, in case you hadn't noticed either. So, yeah. Then we briefly cut back to Matt and Elektra. Where they're now having this meet cute, and I just made a note which was assault is not a meet cute, guys. And it's just weird. And again, does no one think that like he is so aware for someone who is completely blind? He knows that there's a car coming. He knows to tell Elektra to stop. He knows that like he's about to step off a curb. Does no one question this? No one thinks this is weird.
Like, this is the most aware blind guy I've ever seen in my entire life.
No one thinks this is weird.
They're in a huge city. They're in New York City, and no one's like batting an eye at all.
He like barely needs the walking stick. I don't actually think he ever taps it on the ground. I don't think you ever see him tap it on the ground.
He just holds it like this.
He holds it like that because he does hold Elektra's arm during that scene, so it's like, at least paid at least enough attention that he should be holding her arm while he's doing that. So it's
I
like,
don't think that was the filmmakers. That was probably like actually Ben Affleck throwing that in there.
I don't know. Like this is the thing. He's at least doing the look away thing. That's like the least you can do. Whenever you're playing a blind character,
he's like looking past someone.
He looks away. He doesn't look at them directly.
Yeah,
but he doesn't like a thing which happens is you kind of see his eyes wandering around a little bit every now and then, where it's like,
like what is he looking at?
He shouldn't really be doing that. If he was blind, he wouldn't really be doing that at all. And generally speaking, he should be kind of like angling his ear towards someone a little bit. This is something that they did well in the TV show, so it's not really worth talking about because again, they did it well in the TV show because he angles his ear towards people. So and he looks.
Charlie Cox knew what he was doing.
Again, he knew what he was doing so much that he went into other auditions and he accidentally pretended to be blind. And they were like, "Why are you acting blind?" And he was like, "Oh shit, sorry." And that happened multiple times apparently, according to him.
Well, he does look blind though. This is the thing about Charlie Cox. I always said this. Well, it's because like it's just the way he stares. It looks so blank.
Yeah, he's got very wide eyes.
If I'm not used to like
it's
just Matt in the show.
Yeah. Okay, so now we get the first of many amazing Bullseye scenes. So
Oh, the notes I have for this one.
So my first note was Colin Farrell understood the assignment. Every scene he is in is amazing. His coat makes fucking rattlesnake noises. Every time he goes whooshes the coat, it makes it's just so fucking stupid. Why?
I think that's the top of this page. No, it's this one here.
It makes fucking...
Rattlesnake jacket. That's what I wrote down.
It's so fucking dumb. And here's another one of the songs that they use in the movie. The song says, "I'm Irish," and the character on screen is Irish. Subtext.
Yeah.
And I just said, why is Bullseye like this? He's supposed to be an assassin, but he just kills random people, and this causes no problems, apparently.
The paperclip one had me actually in hysterics.
But there's like this weird pause afterwards of where he just kind of stands there and he's like,
oh yeah, and no one questions anything about him dying. They're just like, oh.
I guess he killed that guy and left.
Yeah. With paperclips.
And then he whooshes his coat and it makes a rattlesnake noise. It's like, does he have a speaker in there? Like, what's going on? Does he do? Is he making that noise?
The tattoo on his forehead.
It's not the scar.
Tattoo. It's like a scar. Yeah.
It's so
like
stupid
the actual bullseye.
looking. And him like pulling off his hat, and it looks, and he's like, oh, it's like it's so bad.
The thing about Colin Farrell playing this character is he had fun with it.
He had to have known. There's no way with how much he is chewing the scenery in this movie that he did not know what was going on.
He read this script and was like, this is trash, man.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
this. Like, And there's a couple of random shit scenes in between the next Bullseye scene, but I didn't make any notes on those. I wrote more
No,
Bullseye notes. Just give me a whole movie of Bullseye just doing dumb shit like killing random old ladies. They think this is cool, but it's hilarious. Like,
I kind of like zoned out for a while watching it, and I because I was like, there's no like I was just kind of in shock a bit, and I kind of started taking notes again when he was inside the little house with the family and the kid and everything. And do you not remember this? Like the kid is like crying on the ground.
oh yeah, yeah.
This is why
Oh,
I was saying like
that's
I'm
yeah,
not the bad guy
that's
kid.
the next
Yeah.
line I have. But yeah, just the fucking bit of Bullseye on the plane of where there's the old woman yammering on next to him, and he's like giving her the death stare, and it cuts to the POV shot of where you hear the heavy metal music playing as he's
Yeah.
staring at this woman, and it's like there's no way, there's no way that that he did not think this was stupid. Like I refuse to believe that no one
Like
knew.
you see the serious roles he's in, and you think, oh no, he doesn't know. Like 100%, he went with that like taking the piss.
Like
There is no way
there's no
he
way.
wasn't.
And then you get the fucking the attendant comes over and she's like, oh, she's sleeping, and Bullseye's like, oh, can I have more peanuts? And it's just like, is that supposed to be a one liner? Why did they write it like that? And so then we get the next scene, which my note was Daredevil is a violent psychotic murderer and he's supposed to be the hero. I'm not the
Yeah,
bad guy. Do you get it? Let's have him repeat it a few more times just in
in
case.
the rain. Stand there in the rain like
I'm not the bad guy.
I'm not the bad guy.
Daredevil, why do you think this child is going to believe you when you say I'm not the bad guy when you beat that kid's dead half to death in front of them? Why do you think
It's
that?
fine though. He's not the bad
No,
guy.
kid, look, that he's a criminal. But Mr. Daredevil,
Him,
you're also a
bad.
criminal.
Me good.
Just watch on, child, as I pull your father's head off,
God.
and then brood in the rain. Okay, all right.
I don't know who wrote the scripts of this movie.
Well,
I don't know
it
who's-
wasn't David S. Goyer. Shockingly, it was not. Shockingly, it was not David S. Goyer. Um, so how many notes do you have on this scene? Because that was the only note I actually had, believe it or not.
I literally just put down I'm not the bad guy. That's all I put down because
right.
that was the only thing I remember because it was so fucking stupid.
It's so stupid.
That, like he almost kills this fucking guy
But he
with
doesn't
his
kill
kid
him.
there.
That's the
his
thing.
kid. No, I'm not saying he did. I'm saying he almost kills him, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh, he may as well be fucking dead
Yeah.
because of how beaten he is, and his kid is there, like watching it, and he's like, kid, no, stop, you gotta understand.
I'm not the bad guy.
Yeah, I'm not the bad guy. Him bad. Me, I'm good. I'm the good guy. And
I'm
then he,
the
like, has this
protagonist.
existential crisis in the rain. He's like, fuck.
This is
I'm not the bad guy.
This is the first time in however long he's been doing this. This is the first time he's thought about it.
Yeah,
He never had
he went a little bit too far this time.
one moral question, and he didn't even kill that guy. He cut a man in
Yeah.
half with a train, and he didn't have any problems with this. But this one man that he beat up a little bit, we don't even
Yeah.
see this man committing. Do we see this man commit a crime? I don't think we do. Oh no, we do. We
I
do.
think-
We see him mug a guy. That's what you see. You see him like mugging a guy, and he's talking about Kingpin or something, and then
Yeah.
he fucking just. Oh Christ. Yeah. So right, then we cut to the next scene of Matt goes to work and he's bitchy. And so my note here is Foggy exists to complain and no other reason.
Yeah, like you don't really see him doing much in
Doesn't
that
do
movie.
anything. He just complains. He just complains.
It's just John Favreau giving out.
He just
for, like,
complains.
an hour.
That's all he does. He just complains. And here's the next thing that I wrote. Some of these notes did actually make me laugh whenever I wrote them. So Foggy knows about the lie detecting and the woman smelling, but not Daredevil. And he seems to just think that blind people can do this.
Oh yeah, they can just sense the heartbeats, and they can just smell women around the corner.
He
That's how it
knows
works.
about the lie detecting, but whenever he's reading the newspaper, he's like, "Oh, this Daredevil shit's crazy, man. You don't know about
I wonder who
this.
it could be.
Who could be Daredevil?"
I don't know. I don't know, Foggy.
He's not trying to hide it. He's not trying to hide it at all. Because the next fucking scene is the rain shit. That's the next scene. Well, not really the next scene. The
Wait,
next,
which scene's next one?
the rain scene. The all
The rain
important
scene.
rain scene. The scene. Okay, all right. Let me. I have.
You need to remind me here.
I have so many notes on this scene, so I might as well just go into it. So first, we have Elektra stalks Daredevil a little bit, which I was like, okay, some role reversal here. I'm all right with that. And then you then get the bit of where she's like, "Oh, I have to go," and he's like, "No, no, come up to the roof with me for a second. It's about to rain."
Yeah.
And so
Oh, I remember
the
this,
rain
yeah.
shit is absolutely ridiculous. Why would more noise make him able to see? When earlier in the film it did the exact opposite.
Uh-huh.
In the show, they established that rain is a hindrance because of the amount of noise over a large area. Therefore, the train noise would interfere even in the show, but it wouldn't completely incapacitate him because he's still capable. It's not a weakness, so to speak, in the comics or the show.
Yeah.
It's a case
They
of
just wrote that into the movie.
in
It's
the
like,
movie, it's actively a weakness.
yeah.
Like he's fucking Venom. Like whenever he hears a noise, he's like ah, and it's like why does that happen? It makes no
It's too
fucking
loud.
sense.
It's too loud, man. That's why he has to wear his fucking blare his loud music, but especially that scene.
And he can just see. He can literally
Yeah, yeah.
see whenever the
I
rain
can see
happens.
the rain. I can't hear anything. Overstimulates me, but not right now though, because Elektra's here.
He can just see. He can literally just see. And so then after that, after we get the really stupid rain scene and Elektra does some trauma dumping, which
Yeah.
is of course a prelude to sex, because that's how that works in the real world.
Yeah.
And so this was a thing which I have never noticed before, but because I've seen this film a couple of times. I had not
Yeah.
seen it in like 10 years until last night when I rewatched it, but this is a thing which I noticed and I was like, what the fuck? Is in Elektra's house, there's just statues of people having sex. They
Yeah.
do like a close up on it. I'm like, why? Why
Elektra
did they do
has
this?
no character
No.
at all. Especially in the comics, she's just a sexy ninja.
In anything she's not a very interesting character. In the show they don't do much with her either. She's not very interesting in the show, but in this film she's really bad. Like it's funny for two people who eventually married and then divorced, who were married for many years. They have literally no on-screen chemistry whatsoever. Literally
Yeah.
none. Like
It's almost like they weren't supposed to be together.
they were married for like 10, 15 years. So like
So- Couldn't be a happy marriage though.
I don't know. It's bizarre. Um, okay, so Matt ignores crime to bang like any good hero. That was
Yeah.
because the whole thing is he hears the crime and he's like, "I've got to go," and then she's like, "No, stay," and he's like,
Someone's dying
Okay.
and he's just getting fucking laying pipe.
"Yeah." And then afterwards we get the scene of where I was like, "Okay, this movie doesn't understand Braille now either. He can read raised regular text with his fingers. It's not Braille.
Yeah.
He's not reading Braille. It's just
Oh,
embroidered
I
text."
can read these flat letters on the page. Whoa, I can see with my fingertips.
And it's there because the audience wouldn't know what it says otherwise. In the script,
It's because-
in the script, it probably just said what was supposed to be written, and they didn't just put like a subtitle there or something. Like it's in
Yeah.
Braille. He reads it in Braille, and then there's a subtitle which tells you what it says, or he says it out loud. Something where it still makes sense. It's just stupid.
Because the plot demands it. They didn't do their homework.
Rod demands it, and it's stupid. So okay.
Yeah, I don't think they even like spoke to any blind people before making this movie at all.
Doubtful. Yeah.
They were just like, they can read text by just doing this, right? Yeah, how else would they read books? Fuck, you're onto something there, man.
Like
Idiots.
they made the effort earlier in the film to have
Yeah.
him. He does read some Braille, like as a child at the start of the film, which I think was probably a reshoot. But there's like his clothes tags have Braille on them. It's like, okay, I get some of this. There's the Braille on the clothes tag. There's the he plugs a thing into the computer which prints out like a braille sheet, and I was like, okay, that's fine, that's a thing. Um, okay, so now we get to the party, where my first note is Foggy is a racist.
Yeah,
Would you have said hizzy if Kingpin was white?
this is what I have written down.
Would you have said hizzy if Kingpin was white, Foggy? Is that your way of telling Matt that Kingpin is black and not to say the N word around him? Is that it? Is that what you're trying to say, Foggy?
He's trying to be cool and hip.
Like, would you have said that if he was white? Is that it? Like, oh god, oh Jesus Christ. And so then,
Like, I think they were the fact that Kingpin is played by like a black man in this
yeah,
movie.
he's played by Michael
It's like-
Michael Clark Duncan, who's a very good actor, but he doesn't get anything
Yeah.
to do in this film.
I actually that's something I have to bring up later on. Like the
Yeah.
I can't say it now because we're not towards the end.
Yes,
But they wouldn't have like overdone it with like the you know like the kind of like the rap music and
Rap
then
music and
Foggy saying the kind of like the kind of racist thing like
it's a microaggression. It's
they were
definitely a
like-
microaggression.
they were like, "Hey guys, Kingpin's black in this movie. Throw in everything you can." They were like,
how
"Make
black
it obvious.
can we make him?
Make it obvious," as in, like if it wasn't obvious enough, like let's make it even more obvious.
How black can we make him?
Exactly.
There's more racist shit in this film. We're not
The
done.
very, very formal man smokes cigars.
Is there a scene where he isn't smoking a cigar? I think in the last scene he's not smoking a cigar, but in
I don't
literally every
remember
other
Kingpin
scene.
smoking cigars at
He
all.
doesn't do it in the show, but I think he does it occasionally in the comics. And a lot of the
Yeah,
there's a lot of
but,
imagery
like,
in the comics.
Not
of him
all
with a
the
cigar.
time though.
But yeah,
Not every single scene.
in every scene
single
of this
scene,
film, he's
except
smoking.
for towards the end when they're
When they're fighting.
they have in the fight scene. He's not smoking. He's just screaming.
He's just
for
screaming.
extended periods of time.
It's really awkward. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my next one. Matt uses his smell-o-vision to track Elektra again. It's weird, guys. Stop this. Does she really stink or something? He can always smell her. It's fucking weird.
She
And
doesn't wear deodorant.
he goes up to her and then sniffs her. It's fucking
Yeah.
weird. Stop this. It's so strange. He just goes like up to.
They have their,
It's so
their
fucking
little
weird.
moment. They have
Have
their
their
little
moment.
moment, and then it moves on.
It moves on.
Things start to escalate.
It moves on all right. Oh god,
Yeah.
not another bad rock song was my next note. And then I just wrote, why is Bullseye so funny? The bike was fucking brilliant. They thought this was cool. Him like standing up on the bike and T-posing.
Yeah. Here's another thing about the bike, which I find fantastic. When Bullseye, because Bullseye is trying to kill
Yes, Elektra's dad.
Elektra's dad, right? So when they have that whole sequence,
Mm.
they're out on the street, right? And Bullseye gets the baton.
Yeah. So my note
Daredevil's
here
baton.
my note here is oh no, CGI jump kick. Daredevil can't keep track of his only weapon.
Yeah.
He loses his only weapon. He has nothing else to keep track of. Nothing else
Yeah.
on him can be stolen.
Like, how can he be that bad that he loses
so
like,
terrible.
the one thing that defends him? But here's the funniest thing out of this whole movie. I was in bits. He throws the baton
Yeah.
at her dad. Bullseye does.
And it does the
After
slow-mo
Daredevil's
shot
out.
of Daredevil missing.
catch it.
And he misses.
But the bike explodes.
I don't know why the bike
fucking
explodes.
right? I don't know why. I went back and I was like, why did that happen? But when the bike explodes and it cuts away, then it cuts back again to like the baton
Yeah.
going towards the dad. The bike, all the fire, the flames, the bike vanishes, gone. It's like it never fucking happened. It's like they cut it from the movie.
I didn't notice
Like,
that. I was too busy writing notes.
I was like, did I fucking imagine that? I had to go back and check it again, and then the baton, there's no sharp bits on
No.
it. It just goes right in here.
He threw it
Somehow
really hard.
through the
He
sternum
threw it
here.
really hard.
Like go like do that. That's rock solid
Like,
bone.
well, not on me, but yeah, he threw it really hard, and it like Granted, they do this in the show. They do actually do this. If you remember in Daredevil season 3, whenever there's the scene of Bullseye in the bulletin, he does throw the baton into someone. That does actually
Yeah.
happen. So
I suppose
that
but
is a thing that happens. So it's like, okay.
Then again, it doesn't make much sense.
It doesn't make sense, but I was willing to cut it slack in the show because the show was good. This is fucking terrible, so I'm not willing to
Yeah.
cut it slack here.
But then doesn't Elektra think that
So-
she's like, fuck. She
Okay.
goes down and thinks that Daredevil is killed.
Here's my note for this. Elektra is an idiot. She saw Bullseye attack the car, but immediately believes Daredevil did it because she sees the stick in her dad.
Yeah.
She sits up whenever you see Bullseye approaching the car. She sits up. She sees him doing it.
Yeah.
Did she think he changed into a fucking Daredevil costume in the meantime? And then
It's just because the explosion from the bike. That's why. The explosion from the bike.
it fucked up all. We
Blocked
changed.
view.
We actually changed universes in that time, and we
Yeah,
changed to a
yeah.
different universe where she didn't see Bullseye.
Yeah. Just
Fucking
happened
hell.
like that.
So, right. And now we've got probably my favorite part of the movie. This is the part of the movie where I laughed the hardest. Well, not this specifically, the bit after this. So, Matt is now angry and trashes his apartment because people think he's a murderer, which he is.
Yeah. He's upset that
It's like,
people find out. The
"No!"
media are pissed off.
People think I
Everyone's
killed a
angry.
man!
Well,
I'd never kill men!
I'm not the bad guy.
I'd never
I
kill
didn't push
people.
that guy in the train. He fell. He tripped.
I just didn't save him, like Batman.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Okay.
The end of that. They were definitely no. It didn't come out. Batman Begins.
Batman Begins was
came out-
2005.
Yeah.
So it was
Okay.
a good bit after this film. So okay, sad music is also trashy licensed music. The funeral
Yeah.
is my favorite part of the film. I laughed so hard during this funeral scene. So you've got the
music.
you've got the
scene
song.
as well.
These wounds don't seem to heal. While these wounds don't seem to heal. It's
Bit
so
on the
bad.
nose there, huh?
What?
They're on the nose.
Yeah. And then Kingpin fucking yucking it up at the funeral might be the funniest part of the movie. How does nobody know this man is evil? Like,
Yeah.
you get the shot of him sat at the back with his sunglasses on, and he's like, with his cigar, and he's like laughing. It's like, he's laughing at a funeral. Does no one know this man's evil?
What are you laughing at?
The man's fucking dead. It's funny as hell. This shit's fucking funny, man. Oh my god. And here we go. Here's another stupid line. Does Elektra know that Matt is Daredevil? Why is she so aggressive to him at the funeral? Does she know? He's not defending Daredevil. Why is she like, fuck you?
It's so annoying, that scene in that regard, because it's such a mindfuck.
It's-
Because you're either like, these people have to know, or everyone's dumb.
They're all stupid. No one knows that.
Like, why is she
no one
angry
knows.
towards him? They just had, as far as Elektra is concerned,
They had a nice night.
Matt is just a mental blind person.
He's
who
just
she
really
banged,
capable.
And they had a very interesting party where he
smelled her.
proceeded to sniff her.
He sniffed
Yeah.
her really audibly.
Yeah.
And everyone saw, and everyone
Yeah.
saw, and everyone was like, did that blind guy just sniff that woman in public?
Is she mad that Matt didn't do anything to stop the murder? What is he gonna do? Open his eyes properly? Turn the blindness off? Save my dad, Matt. Oh yeah, sure.
It's, oh god, that part was stupid as hell. Then we get the slow-mo sunglasses being taken off. Whenever he's trying to tell whether or not she's angry. Because he can't see her face, so he has to take off his sunglasses, and it's starting to rain. And then she's like, no, fuck you, and she puts on the umbrella. It's so fucking stupid. She puts up the fucking umbrella.
It's more of a comedy movie. I can't
It's
take it
so
seriously. I
fucking
never
funny.
could. It's like the way Spider-Man 1 is.
Spider-Man
Tobey
1 is
Maguire.
fucking hilarious. That movie
That
is
is
absolutely
that
hilarious.
whole movie is just comedic relief.
Like, okay, so there was that whole stupid bullshit. You get another shot of Kingpin at the funeral of where it's after Elektra's walked away, and Matt's just stood there, and he slowly puts his sunglasses back on, and he's super sad, and it pans behind him, you just see Kingpin getting into his fucking limo, and he's smoking a cigar and laughing. It's like, how does no one know? And it is
You know, I
introduced-
honestly thought as soon as he got back in the car, they were gonna play like the rap song.
You would
again.
just hear like fucking like gangster rap blasting. And it's like, I'm the Kingpin blasting out the speakers. Like,
fuck's sake! I was
I'm
expecting
bigger
it
than
as well, that's what
Jesus.
upset me.
Like, it's so bad. Okay, so now we get one of the only fucking Ben
It's too on
Urich
the nose,
scenes.
it's too obvious.
So now we get one of the only Ben Urich scenes that I actually wrote notes on, which is the scene with Kevin Smith,
Yeah.
who plays a character called Kirby, because of Jack
Yeah.
Kirby. But Kevin Smith, ironically, also wrote Daredevil comics, which is funny.
That's when they're in the medical room,
when
isn't
they're
it?
in the morgue, and they're
Yeah.
and Ben Urich learns that Matt Murdock is Daredevil because he just his stick is also the weapon, because he didn't think at any point that someone might take one of these and then press a button
Yeah.
somewhere and realize that it's actually a blind man's stick.
Mm-hmm. Right, there could be multiple.
Blind superheroes, yeah. But
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
only
Or there could be multiple ways to hide it.
just don't do that. Like,
Yeah,
he doesn't seem to have a quick change at any point.
multiple ways to hide it.
Like, why does he need the stick to be the weapon as well? Like, that's a thing in some of the like classic comics, is that the stick is also the Billy Club. In some
Yeah.
comics, that's
Well,
the case.
He doesn't. It's not like he brings the suit with him.
Like, that's the thing. He doesn't have a quick change. At the party,
Yeah.
he clearly doesn't, because you'd see the sweat dripping off him if he had that giant leather bodysuit underneath his
He has to go
underneath his
home,
tuxedo. He has to
change
run
it, so
away,
why does he have to
change,
have
and
the-
then get back.
And does the stick not already have? Is not already kind of a weapon, like
you
a
don't,
temporary one?
you don't need
Just buy a new one.
You don't need the Billy Club to be disguised. It's just it's written in there in the movie. It's only there so that he can be caught, really.
Yeah.
And so my next note is because we get the only scene with Bullseye and Kingpin together.
Yeah.
Where my note here is Colin Farrell extra Irish in this film? Why does his gruff voice make him sound more Irish? Because, like, he's doing this gruff voice. He barely has any dialogue,
Yeah.
but he has this fucking gruff voice, and you can just hear you can hear it in his voice. He sounds like extra Irish. It's really weird. And so then I wrote another note, which was, why does Kingpin want Elektra dead? It makes no sense. He only wanted to kill her dad. Did he just want to kill her too? Did he just feel like doing it?
Well, is it not because?
She doesn't know anything. She thinks Daredevil did it. She has
Yeah.
no idea.
But she goes and hunts down Daredevil then,
Yeah.
doesn't she?
But-
yeah,
but this
hunts
is-
him down.
But this is the thing. If they had just let her kill Daredevil, it'd be like, okay, that solves the problem.
Yeah.
You don't need
Yeah, I don't
Bullseye
know.
there to
You
kill
don't
her as
really
well.
explain it. You could say, like, argue like, oh, she's another threat, but like she
Not
hasn't
really.
done nothing yet.
She's not
like,
got
you
any
know.
interest in Kingpin. She doesn't even know there is a Kingpin.
Yeah, she's just looking for Daredevil's the killer. She's looking for Daredevil because she presumes that he killed her father, and then she's like, "Oh fuck, it's actually Matt." After she catches up.
Yeah.
And
We're
then
skipping
they-
some very important scenes, though.
I know. I'm just
So-
cutting through a bit here.
Okay. So now my next note is very important. This is the point in the movie where I start writing notes in all caps. So my next note is, here we go, baby. It's another training montage, and it's time for Evanescence. And my next note is, wake me up inside. The following note after that is, save me. And then my note after that is, they thought this was so cool.
Just writing the lyrics like, damn, this is trash, man.
They thought this was so cool.
That's the Elektra fucking
The Elektra training montage.
scene.
There's so many montages in the movie, and she's fucking doing her training and all this shit, and it's like, okay. And there's the fucking bag which has the Daredevil on it, and it's like, oh my fucking god. Like, oh my fucking god.
Symbolism.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Okay. Unfortunately, there's not that much to discuss with this scene.
No,
Unfortunately,
it's just
it's
waking up
it's
inside of the
hilarious. It's hilarious, but
other
unfortunately, there's
persons.
not much to discuss. The next scene, however, there's lots to discuss because this is where we get to the climactic battle of the film
Oh
with
yes.
20 minutes left to go. So the first note here I have is the fucking rattlesnake noises. Because
Yeah.
there's multiple notes throughout this
I
of
like
where
the
I
way they
just
kept going throughout the whole movie.
they
Not
never
just the
stop.
introduction, but
They never stop. They do
every
it.
time he like
They do
flicks
it
that
every
coat, it's
time
like,
he swooshes his fucking coat. It's so bad. And so I just said Daredevil can jump up the sides of buildings now too. Apparently,
yeah,
he just
super
just
strength,
does the jumping up the
super
side of the
jump,
building.
super.
Yeah, I wrote that Bullseye just snarled at a rat for some reason. Whenever he climbs at the rat, or
Yeah,
there's the rat there, and he goes like that. It's like they're just having fun. Like that was improvised. That was
yeah.
not
No,
in the script.
Colin Farrell just
That was
wanted to
not in
like
the
just
script.
snarl at rats.
Like,
Just he wanted to be like a weirdo, like a proper fucking weirdo.
it's so fucking funny.
But yeah. Then moving on, you have that battle scene.
Right.
Holy balls!
So
If this wasn't the worst choreographed fight scene I've ever seen in my entire life,
it's hilarious.
I don't know what else could be.
You've not seen some of the other movies on my list.
No,
That's
but I'm
crucial
looking
here.
forward to it.
That's crucial here. So,
Now,
the first thing I said here was, does Daredevil know that there's going to be a climactic battle? Why is he here? He's not
Yeah.
been like lured here.
yeah,
Why is he here? Does he know? Did he read the script? Like,
he's just chilling.
why did he go to that
He was just-
specific
he was-
roof?
He's just on rooftops, you know.
He didn't hear. He couldn't smell Elektra here. Apparently, she put on like a deodorant
Yeah.
or something, and he couldn't smell her anymore because he was completely surprised by her being there. It feels like there's a scene missing. Like
Put on
it just
the anti-Daredevil spray.
it feels like there's a fucking scene missing of her going here and him for some reason having to go to this same location because he goes to this one random rooftop and starts looking around. Why is he looking around? Is he going to stop a crime? Why is he stopping here on this rooftop? There's
No, no.
nothing happening.
He's not an active crime stopper, as you
No,
can see from the movie.
no, yeah, as
He
we know
kills
already.
one man. And
He
he's
kills
like,
one man and he's like, time to go back to bed.
Done.
Back to bed.
Right. I don't know. It's weird, but it doesn't it doesn't make less sense than the fight scene.
No. Elektra
The
can.
fight scene makes even it confuses the fuck out of me.
I wrote that Elektra
It's so
can also
stupid.
fly.
Yeah.
She just
She
flies.
just-
She jumps up towards a building and she just fucking flies.
It's the fucking the knives that makes her go the daggers,
Yeah.
sorry. They just go
She's
flying.
like Thor. She spins the knife and then throws it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just goes with it.
Helicopters. Just fucking get some
Like the
flying.
fucking Inquisitors in Star Wars.
But
Yeah.
the
So
fight scene.
the fight
yes.
against the Daredevil and Elektra fight lasts like 3 seconds. She kicks his
Yeah.
ass instantly. So I didn't really write any notes on that part. I didn't really write any notes on the Daredevil. versus
Somehow
Elektra
she
fight.
manages to train like. and
She
beat
trains
this guy.
super. Granted, earlier in the film they established that she has had training. They do say
Yeah,
that. So
I
it's like
suppose.
they paid lip service to the idea. There's no reason. Why does she use size? Why is that her weapon of choice? Because they make it sound like she's just had like self-defense training. So generally, the self-defense training is aimed for the
It's
dick.
because
That's what that is.
the plot demands it. That's why I wrote down for a lot of these fucking stupid things. I just said plot demands.
Okay. So now, it's time for the funniest part of the movie. Elektra versus Bullseye. Why did she even try to catch the Psy? She throws it at Bullseye and he catches it, and then she's like,
had that written
I
down.
could
was
see,
like, why
I could
did
do
she
that.
catch it?
I could do that. And she's like, oh no! And there's the shock stinger noise whenever she pulls her hand forward, and you see
Yeah.
it, and she's like, oh no! Why did I do this?
I have it written down. Like, why did she catch it?
Why did she try?
Why didn't she? Why didn't she?
She
Just,
didn't train for that.
Why did she just move?
Just dodge. Like, she had
Pick it
so
up when it
much
hits the
time.
ground. Yeah, and then this fight goes on I think what was it like a minute or minute and a half?
This
Roughly
one's
around
longer
that?
than the Daredevil and Elektra fight. So
Yeah.
my next all caps note is the coat is practical. And what I mean by that is during the fight he starts swooshing the coat at her and fucking uses it to deflect the fucking size. And I'm like, this is nonsense. This is ridiculous. The coat is practical. It has a purpose.
It's made of leather. That's why.
Everything's made of leather.
I
They're
know.
all wearing leather.
They're all wearing leather,
They're
but it's
coated in
blade
it.
proof. That's what you don't understand. It's sight proof. It's because the rattlesnakes generate the vibration.
The rattlesnakes in there.
that only Daredevil can see. But Elektra's weak to it. It blocks the throwables. But yeah. And then Bullseye fucking kills her.
So before that, he beats her up a little bit, and then he says, "You're good, babe, but I'm magic." And that's when he pulls the card out of his sleeve, and it's like,
I forgot about
what
this
the
one,
fuck
actually.
does that mean?
I forgot about this.
And then he says, "Oh, for my next trick." So okay, I will say this is from a comic. This is actually from a comic. That line, I'm pretty sure, is from a comic. Especially and with specifically the shot of him lifting her up and stabbing her with the sai, and it like poking into the back of her top. That is a specific image from a comic that they're recreating. Because in the comics, when Elektra dies, it's Bullseye that does it. And that's how it looks. That's what happens. Is you see the sai poking into the back of the fabric. And I don't know if he says the I'm magic thing, but he does pull out the card at some point, I think. Yeah, I just wrote, he just fucks with her a little bit as well here. What, like, whenever she's, like, on the ground, and he's, like, reaching out at her and just kind of laughing, and she's just, like, smacking at his hands, why doesn't she fight back? Why doesn't she fight back?
He's like, I'm done.
I was like, no.
I already defeated superhero.
No. Like, she just kind of like, no.
She got bested, so she's like,
and then he stabs her and fucking throws her, and her fall is fucking hilarious. She hits like the fucking drum on the way down, and it's like thunk and falls down. And so he then rubs the rose on his forehead and throws it at her. Why does he rub the rose on his forehead? Does he get like some sort
grease?
His fucking forehead grease.
His
scar grease. Oil.
Disrespect. It's so Daredevil can light it on fire, and afterwards, DD with the fucking.
Daredevil has to grab the rose and sniff it, and he's like, "I know how you smell now, Bullseye. I can track you to the ends of the earth."
Yeah. So after that fight, after she's dead and gone.
So I wrote, why did she lose so easily after rocking Daredevil's world mere moments ago? She kicks the shit out of Daredevil. Now, granted, she's angry, and also he's not really fighting back. But we've also established earlier in the film that she can beat him, because she did in the playground scene. But she gets the shit kicked out of her by Bullseye. She doesn't even, like, try.
It's the rattlesnakes.
It's so... The power scaling is all over the place. Oh, God. And yeah, so, right, after the climactic rooftop battle, we're back to the beginning of the movie, and my note here is, and that's how I ended up in this stupid church. I then wrote, why does this priest only whisper?
What I had written down when you see Daredevil again back from the start of the movie.
Yeah.
From where we are now, I just wrote down like Q and Babel O'Reilly, because yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got in this situation.
Yeah. And like again,
it's perfect.
That shot of him clutching the crucifix, that is shot from a comic. They do it in Daredevil season 3 as well. They do that shot in Daredevil season 3 after he's gotten his ass kicked by Bullseye. He's holding the thing. That's a very famous shot from a comic.
He's hiding from helicopters and stuff.
He's hiding from helicopters, but in the movie there's helicopter light hitting him.
Yeah.
It's like, he's there. You see that red man holding onto that cross? He's there. Okay. So now we get some more dumb bullshit of where Daredevil fights Bullseye. He stands up and Bullseye throws some fucking bowl at him. And Daredevil Daredevil apparently couldn't dodge that bowl.
The noise he makes when it hits him in the fucking throw. Oh.
Because it's like, he's standing there, and he's like, try it. do your worst, and then Bullseye's like, he just hits him immediately, and it's like he didn't even try.
Oh,
It's like
when he
this
got
is
rocked by the fucking bowl, I was
it's
in
fucking
hysteria.
hilarious.
It was so funny because just the noise he made, like you couldn't have moved.
He can hear it. It's a bowl flying. It's metal.
Well, they have their very anticlimactic fight anyway,
Oh, there's more. I wrote, why? What the fuck is this fight scene?
and
Why are there
yeah,
bats?
that's what I'm getting into. The fucking CGI in that
Oh
scene.
god.
Oh lord.
God.
I've written down more fucking I feel like just human fall flat battle right here. I have human
The
fall
gang
flat
beasts.
battle because like they're literally like being like stretched and they look rubberized as
Yeah.
fuck in this movie. Yeah, so and then that scene where I think the glass breaks and he starts trying to catch it all. He's like,
Yeah. Okay, so my note for this was that if you were listening carefully, it makes the fucking royalty-free pot breaking noise when he breaks the glass.
Yeah.
And then he catches all the glass, and he so in this film at one point he says, "I never miss." He mostly misses. He
yeah,
mostly
he
misses.
like like almost all those
He
fucking.
only hits Daredevil when he is standing still. And he just
Yeah.
chooses not to dodge the ball. That's the only time when he hits Daredevil.
Oh, he's
in this
baiting
whole
him.
scene.
He's like, fuck.
Like,
He's trying to bait him out.
so I wrote as well, sound is so randomly a weakness in this film. Because Bullseye's fucking around with the church organ shit. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh no, oh!
Oh no, I thought music helped me, not anymore.
The bells,
Oh.
the bells. And I was
They
like,
just like decide to retcon sound effects like halfway through the fucking movie. I find it hilarious.
it's so fucking stupid. Daredevil is such a bad superhero. His one weakness is sound of any variety, and he's constantly incapacitated by it.
Yeah.
Like, he is.
Every time he's fighting someone, they're like, oh fuck.
He's like, oh no, they farted. Like, I broke this man's knees. And whenever he breaks Kingpin's knees and Kingpin just starts screaming, he should just start like, no, like that on the ground. He's like, oh, my ears.
He's doing that scream. It goes on for so long. It goes on for so long. But we're skipping over
it.
Bullseye
Okay,
death scene.
there's more. I have more. And now we introduce the idea that Kingpin killed Drunk Dad too. For some reason. Because Daredevil needed more motivation, apparently. He was already going to kill this guy. But he needs more motivation now. Also, he didn't fucking know that Fisk was Kingpin. He knew that he wasn't innocent earlier in the film. Did he forget? Like, whenever they go to meet Kingpin at the party, Foggy's like, oh, here's our names. And Matt's like, oh, we can't represent you. And Foggy's like, oh, why can't we do that? And he's like, because we only represent people who are innocent. So he knows that Kingpin is a criminal. Or he knows that Wilson Fisk is a criminal. But he doesn't know that he's the Kingpin.
Yeah. Makes sense. Now, why does he say that? Why does he say that? Are they trying to say that Matt Murdock is racially motivated or something like that? They had so many references to it in the movie.
He's like, I think Kingpin at this, he's just leaning into it. He's like, I wonder how many people will. He's like, I've got the perfect defense. If someone tries to say you're a criminal, it'd be like, that's fucking racist. Just because I'm a black man who listens to gangster rap doesn't mean I'm a criminal. It's like, fair enough, that is true. But he is also so obviously a criminal. He walks around speaking evil to people while smoking cigars and laughing.
And laughing at funerals.
Laughing at fucking funerals. Like,
brilliant.
Okay, so this is then a thing of where Daredevil maneuvers Bullseye's hands to getting shot by the sniper, and Bullseye's like, my hands, show mercy. He's on his knees and he's like, every time he's doing something, they linger on him for just too long.
Yeah.
Like him in the bar at the start of the film, of where he throws the pins into that guy's neck and he just kind of stands there for a second, like. And then after he gets his hands shot, he's kneeling and he just goes like for a few seconds before Daredevil does anything. It's just so
Yeah.
fucking weird. Like,
And
and I just wrote, he had to have known this is a joke. There's no way that he would be overacting this death scene so much if he didn't know. And then this is the greatest line of the movie.
is it the one-liner?
Daredevil throws Bullseye out the window and he hits a car and he says, "Bullseye." And I wrote, "Were you aiming for that car, you stupid prick?" Like, that it wouldn't be a bullseye unless you were fucking aiming for it. You were just throwing him out the window.
He's a menace to society. Daredevil's a menace. He kills people and then vandalizes police cars with other people and says,
With men.
Bullseye.
Bullseye.
Yeah. I meant to do that. And then
Okay. Now
the next boss battle.
we've got the final racism here as well.
Yeah.
So there's the final racism
Yeah.
of where Kingpin is talking to Wesley in his office, and he's like, "Oh, someone talked." I guess he sensed it with the Force. He knew that Bullseye died. He
was in
reached
the cigars.
He was in the cigars. Yeah, he's like astral projecting. He's like, "Bullseye is dead." Daredevil knows I'm the Kingpin as well. It's like, how the fuck do you know this? And he's like, and he tells Wesley, "Oh, get rid of all my security guards. I'm gonna fight Daredevil alone." He's like, "You sure that's a good idea?" And Kingpin says, "I was raised in the Bronx." And so here's my final translation. I'm black, Wesley. Of course I can fight. I've never seen anyone talk about this line. It's the final racism.
That's the final racism.
The final racism.
Well, I'd say even the second final racism. What
Is there
Matt does
more?
next is,
Okay,
is the last racism.
Okay. Right. So I don't actually have many notes on the fight scene, but my note here is, holy shit, did you need to cripple this man first, Daredevil? Like,
Yeah. I just said I just said the knee break, and then I was just like extra long scream.
he's really in pain.
I was just like, this guy yells.
He was like,
Big-
I get no acting to do in this movie. This is my moment.
Yeah. It's at the very
Ah!
end. And then,
Okay.
Kingpin's defeated.
So,
Hurrah.
I killed all of the henchmen, but I will not kill you, primary antagonist. Therefore, I am in the right morally.
Exactly. He's not racist anymore.
I'm not the bad guy, he says. I can't kill you because you're black, Kingpin. Otherwise,
Yeah.
people will say I'm a hate criminal.
Exactly. All those other people, though?
No, we killed the shit out
Fuck
of those guys.
Fuck them.
Killed
I'm
the
not the
shit
bad guy
out of
for
those
killing
guys.
you, but those other guys... Fuck them.
I crippled him, though.
Yeah. He just Batmaned him.
And again,
Ruined his entire future.
it's like, okay, why would, like, so Kingpin's like, "Oh, I'll tell everyone who you are," and Daredevil's like, "Oh, just go tell everyone that you got beaten up by a blind man, good job." It's like, but if he was to say, "Oh yeah, I know who fucking Daredevil is," regardless of whether or not that's a blind guy, that's a pretty substantial threat. Like, in the show,
Yeah.
they treat that like it's a pretty substantial threat.
It's like, oh no, shame of being beaten up by a blind man. Fuck. That's a lot worse.
Than just telling everyone you know who Daredevil is.
Yeah, that's his reputation gone. That he could easily just regain back. But it
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be tarnished at all.
Yeah.
So
It's so bad. It's so fucking stupid. It's
yeah,
so
I just
stupid.
said I'm not the bad guy.
I also wrote that.
I just wrote here kills multiple people.
Yeah. I just wrote, "I'm not the bad guy," he says.
And I said, yeah. Then there's the conclusion. Not that it was hardly a conclusion,
So-
but it's just
There's a few more tiny bits I need to talk about. I wrote,
Yeah.
why are they so committed to this alligator in the sewers joke? They
Yeah.
make this joke multiple times throughout the film. Why do they do this? Did they think it's funny? It's not funny. It's not funny once. Like,
I don't think I laughed at any of the dialogue
I
in this
didn't-
movie. Like,
no, not
as in,
any of
like,
the
the
stuff that's
jokes?
supposed to be funny. No.
yeah, I laughed at like the very bad stuff, as in like how poor it was. Like
Yeah.
even the dialogue as well
Everything.
was pretty
shit.
So, okay, I wrote the police and everyone else just accept that Daredevil is a good guy now, despite his wanton murder earlier in the
Because he
film.
said it. Because he told
He
said
told
it, and
Kingpin.
everyone's like, I'm not the bad guy, and they're like, fuck, I think you're right. You're onto something
He
there.
only told Kingpin. He
Yeah.
didn't tell anyone else. And Ben Urich just decides. Why does Ben Urich think Daredevil is a good guy? He has seen the crime scenes. He's seen the crime scenes. Why does Ben Urich think that Daredevil is a good guy now? And he chooses not to
He
dox him.
told him. That's all you. That's all. That's the only reason. Is because I said so.
Ben Urich decides not to dox Daredevil because he's like, you know what, he's an alright guy.
Yeah.
Apparently, even though he's seen the men that Daredevil cut in half. He's explicitly seen it. And I wrote, I guess Elektra lived. Because there's the charm in Braille. I was like, I guess Elektra lived? I mean, she's
Yeah.
got a spin-off movie, so we're not fucking...
Question
We
mark.
are not watching that film. That is...
Come on.
That is way worse than this. I've seen Elektra once, and I wanted to die. That is not... This film is fun to watch because it's so bad. Elektra is not fun to watch. That film
Not
is
fun at all.
pain. It is agonizingly terrible. I refuse to watch that film again.
Well, regardless, this movie was trash. It was terrible. I wouldn't give it anything over 5. Like if I was giving it a rating out of 10, obviously, I'd maybe give it like if I was being generous, I'd give it a 2. 2 out of 10, and that is being generous. Mainly just because of the music.
It is well regarded as one of the worst films.
Yeah.
as especially one of the worst superhero films ever made. Easily one of the worst superhero
I'll
films
only
ever
give
made.
it a 2 out of 10. Mainly because the music it's not bad music, it's just put in wrong places. And some of the fight scenes, especially the bar one, that is choreographed okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's not terrible. It's okay. It's just the audio washing in that fucking
Oh
scene
yeah,
is
it's terrible. Yeah, I have a few tiny little notes left. One, I have a note about the final monologue, which is that Daredevil says, "Oh, it's a city of heroes," and I just have "heroes" written in all caps.
Yeah.
He killed so many random people.
Here's the thing. City of heroes, and there's only like one superhero. It's him.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if they
And
were going to
Elektra's
connect
dead.
all the other movies together at all. I had that written down like to be continued. Obviously not.
Well,
But
it is
I
because
had-
Elektra is a direct sequel.
I mean, like in terms of
Daredevil's
like,
in that movie.
the X-Men and fucking.
Oh yeah, this movie was
Yeah.
Fox, so it would technically be them. And I wrote another trashy song for good measure, "The Final Insult."
Yeah.
I don't know if
The
you
return of
noticed.
the-
I don't know if you noticed that there is an after credits scene in this movie.
I didn't actually because I wanted to turn it off as soon as the credit rolled.
I
didn't
noticed.
think-
I noticed on Netflix that the pop up at the bottom of the screen didn't show up, so I was like, "Does this film have an after credits scene?" And I
Yeah.
waited, and it fucking does. Bullseye lived too, I guess.
Oh right.
The post-credits scene is him in a full-body cast in the hospital with two guards outside of his room, and there's a fly buzzing around him, and he's getting super angry because he can't reach anything to kill it with because he's completely immobilized. But he flicks a syringe at it, and then it pins it to the wall, and he says, "Bullseye," and then the movie ends.
That is cheese.
They thought they were getting a sequel. They thought they were
Yeah.
getting a sequel.
They're like, God, people will love this movie.
Like,
He's not the bad guy.
he's not the bad guy. He's not the bad guy, but he's definitely not the good guy. He's not good at all. He kills so many people. He is a bloodthirsty maniac. He kills so many people in this film. Like, a thing which I was thinking about earlier on was that the film, it's not like an ugly looking movie. Like, shockingly
No.
enough. Like, it's got decent enough cinematography for the time. It's got
This
an
is what I
okay
was gonna
color
say when-
grade and stuff
That's
like
what I was
this.
gonna say when he was in the hospital, or the blind hospital.
Yes.
I thought a lot of the scenes in that were like really like pretty.
Yeah, like again, it's not
and,
an
like,
ugly
the
looking
colors
movie.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they do the radar sense scenes are okay. Like it's clearly an expensive effect. It's clearly an expensive effect that they put some effort into making it. Um, but yeah, like it's a thing of where like oh like the blurring, it's like it doesn't look awful. It's just like the CGI isn't very good, and like the color grade, it's very blue obviously, but it's not bad. It's not like a bad color grade. It looks okay. They like their Dutch angles because it's a movie from
Yeah, this
2003.
was gonna say during the fight scene with Bullseye and Elektra, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
a
Dutch
lot of Dutch
angles.
angles. They like their Dutch angles, but it's not the worst thing in the
I felt
world.
like I was being thrown around
Yeah.
because I was constantly like, when they were moving from scene to scene.
Oh.
Exactly, I was. It was not great.
Again, that bar fight scene made me feel blind and deaf.
Justice,
Yeah. What do you want?
blind and deaf.
Justice. And again, in the courtroom scene, he says justice is blind. It's like the jury. It should cut to the jury, and they just go like that because it's like, does he do this in every case? He has to bring up the blind thing. He has to bring it up every time. Can't get one case without this motherfucker bringing up the fact that he's blind.
Couldn't tell. Thought this guy could see this whole time.
Yeah, he thought we
He
just
was,
thought
a-
he was cool.
able to smell women around the corner, so I
Yeah.
thought you could see as well.
His woman senses. That's
Yeah.
another thing during the last few scenes. There's the scene of him in the fucking diner again with Foggy, and he smells another woman entering
dear.
entering the diner, but it's not Elektra. But she's also wearing full denim because we, the audience, need to know that he thought it was Elektra.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we wouldn't have known.
Yeah, she wasn't wearing the little.
Full denim.
Yeah.
Completely denim. Head to toe in denim. Deeply American.
What a trash fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe. I remember I was so upset finishing that yesterday. I was like, man,
An hour and 40 minutes that you'll never get
just
back.
wasted like almost 2 hours of my life. See, I watched it on iTunes, so I didn't see the little pop up.
Right, yeah. I watched it on
I mean-
Netflix. It's on everything. That's the shocking thing about this
Yeah.
movie. Every streaming service has it because it's like
Cheap.
it's no one. You don't even have to pay for it. They'll just give it to you. Fox don't fucking want it. They'll give it to Netflix. They'll give it to Amazon. They'll give it to fucking Disney. They'll give it to fucking iTunes. Everyone can watch this movie easily. But yeah, the fucking. I don't actually remember the director's cut. Even though I have the director's cut, I don't remember it at all. I'm not watching it again. Fuck that. I have the director's cut
I would
DVD
just-
like over there, but absolutely not watching that.
Extended scenes or something.
I don't know. I don't actually know what's different about it because like all the stuff that I watched in the film last night, I was like, oh yeah, this is all the same as I remember it. I don't remember this being very different. But yeah. So yeah, that was Daredevil. That's more or less our discussion of Daredevil. I think. I don't think we have
I
much
think
more
that
to
was
say.
a really good discussion.
That was an
for this
hour and a half.
movie.
We've been talking about the movie almost as long as the movie went on for.
I think that's a perfect number for it.
Yeah.
Time frame for it
So
because we got through pretty much everything.
I wrote notes on every scene of the film. Every
Yeah.
scene of the film. I don't think I'm going to do that for every movie going forward because there's probably going to be some movies that we touch on that I haven't seen. So I don't think I'll be writing notes through all of them because it got to a certain point of where I was kind of missing stuff in the movie. I had to rewatch the "I'm Magic" line because I was in disbelief. I was like, did he
That
just
was
say
real.
that? Did he just say that? I was like, I thought I could have missed that, and I just went back 10 seconds. I was like, he fucking actually said that. But yeah. So the format that we've gone for here is I picked the first movie from my list, and now presumably Landon has to pick a movie, and that's the movie we'll watch next time. So do you have a movie in mind? That we will...
Currently, no, but we will take a look and see because I'll need to find some proper trash. I need to find something good.
Like
Not
this
good,
is,
but like good trash. I
like,
need to
this
find
is
some
the
good
thing.
trash.
My list is predominantly a lot of films from the early 2000s because those were a lot of films that you haven't seen. A lot of those films.
Yeah, I'd say that. I wasn't really well, no, I've seen like some of the X-Men,
Yeah, you've seen a couple of the X-Men films. You've
obviously,
seen the
and
Spider-Man films.
seen Blade and everything. But
Yeah,
see, the thing is with Blade, that's a good movie.
Blade's a good movie, but it is on my
Yeah.
list. It is on my list
Yeah.
because it's a fun movie.
It's gonna be hard to pick apart that one, I'd say.
Yeah,
You could probably be like, oh, the CGI is a bit dated, but that's about it.
yeah. It's just a funny
Um,
movie. Blade is a fun movie. Yeah. God,
it doesn't have to be specifically superhero
It doesn't have
movies,
to be
does it?
specifically superhero movies. It generally just has to be something we're prioritizing films that we've covered an adaptation
Yeah, yeah.
of, but not necessarily limited to that. So if
Yeah.
we wanted to, we could cover like fucking Star Wars because we've done Star Wars games. But I would say there's not much of a reason for that because
I have a feeling that the holiday special for Star Wars is on your list, the 1970s one.
well, I'm not going to say any more about that. But yeah, like this is the thing. I'm like, we've covered things when we've covered things that are tangentially related to stuff. So, for example, we haven't actually covered any of the X-Men movie tie-ins, but the X-Men movies are on my list because we've covered X-Men games. And again, it's not limited to things that we've already covered on the other show. We can just also do those things.
Oh, we have to watch X-Men Origins Wolverine.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
Yeah,
It's on
has
my
to
list.
happen.
Speaking of shitty
It has to
CGI,
happen. Yeah, I know.
fuck
The way
me.
Deadpool looks in that movie as well. Fucking hell.
Remember the scene of whenever he's doing this and cutting down the fire escape? I'm gonna spin my arms
Is that
like
when
this,
is that when he's fighting Gambit?
yeah, I'm gonna spin my arms like this, and if you get in my way, it's your fault. Fucking Christ! Like this is the thing. You've not seen any of the original Batman films, and those are all on my list.
I haven't seen the Keaton ones, no.
That's the thing. You've not seen Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, or Batman and Robin. So
This is gonna be great.
Batman and Robin genuinely might be one of the funniest movies ever made. That
We have to
movie is
watch-
fucking hilarious.
We have to watch Justice League as well. 100%. We gotta do it. We have to do it.
I hate that movie so much. It's like
We
a
have to do it.
cave. A bat
And
cave.
Batman versus Superman we have to watch.
Oh, that movie's like 3 hours long.
And we have to
Oh,
watch
God.
100% we have to watch the old Superman movies from the
Those,
2000s.
those are on my list as well. Superman Returns, starring Kevin Spacey. That is on my
And-
list.
One more. Man of Steel.
Oh, Man of Steel is so long.
I know. We gotta do it. We gotta watch it until he does the funny crying face. Yeah. Gotta do it. And perhaps we have to watch what's that Spider-Man? I can't remember.
You're not going to make me watch The Amazing Spider-Man 2 again, are you?
Now that you mention it, Alex.
I haven't. I only saw that film once, and it was so bad that I nearly stopped watching it multiple times.
See, The Amazing Spider-Man, the story ass, the effects and everything else, like the suit, brilliant. The effects are brilliant in that movie. Yes, they are. Shut up. The CGI is fantastic and the action scenes are good, but the story, doo doo. Like Gwen Stacy, that's what the story's like.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh god. Oh god. Oh Jesus. I'm not looking. If I have to watch The Amazing Spider-Man 2 again, that's oh god. Jesus Christ! Like I was thinking to myself, we might cover like a couple episodes of certain cartoons as well because there's some good
Yeah.
stuff in there. Like we could cover some of the because you've never seen Batman the Animated Series,
Not really, no.
and Batman the Animated Series I believe is on Netflix now, so we could cover some of that. 'Cause
Sure.
there is some great episodes, and again we could just bunch in a couple episodes. on it.
Oh, we should watch the Japanese Spider-Man.
I don't know how much of that we could watch because there is a movie of it, but it's like 3 hours long. I don't know if I'm sitting through 3 hours of that madness. Like,
We have to watch definitely like Nightmare on Elm Street as well, because I know we played that
we
game.
did play that game. Nightmare on Elm Street 1 is good. There is 8 of those films, though. And only 2 of them are good.
We'll have to watch The Phantom Menace.
We've covered so many Phantom Menace movie adaptations.
Yeah.
There's been so
Now we
many
have to do
fucking
the actual
games.
movie.
God.
We have to.
I don't mind
we have
Phantom
to go
Menace.
Oh yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't mind Phantom Menace.
However-
It's Attack of the Clones that I can't stand.
And didn't we play an Attack of the Clones?
No,
Tie-in?
haven't.
No.
I have not.
Interesting.
But again,
Maybe.
it's not limited to ones that we've covered, so we can do stuff that we haven't covered. Because again, like,
Okay, so I'm writing down the Book of Boba Fett.
oh no, oh god, no! I'm not watching the Book of Boba Fett again.
Boba Fett.
I would,
Star Wars Rebels.
I would rather fucking die than watch the Book of Boba Fett again. Fennec, help me out of the Bacta tank.
I need to get into the back to tank, Fennec. What else we got here? Let me open up Netflix. I don't even have a Netflix account anymore. It wasn't mine.
You're gonna have me suffering. You're gonna have me suffering.
Oh no, I still.
I would prefer movies. I would prefer movies because they're easier to talk about and they're shorter. And I'm not going to be sat there for fucking 2 years writing notes on them.
Oh, we should definitely watch Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Ugh.
That piece of shit movie.
I didn't mind Far From Home when I watched it the first time. I didn't think any more of it after that. I don't really want to cover MCU movies. There's not much to talk about with them.
We won't.
There's not much to talk about with them, really. This is kind of why
However,
most of my list is
I do
trash
have
from
a
the early
suggestion.
2000s.
I do have a suggestion
Right.
for MCU movies, though. Venom.
It's not really an MCU movie, but
They're making it MCU, but yeah, you're kind of right. But still, Venom. We gotta do
Venom's
it.
so bad. It's so
Do it.
bad. Good night,
Do
Mrs.
it.
Chen. That fucking voice. Why does he sound like that?
It was me, Eddie, bro.
Why does he sound like that? Why has he got his tiny voice?
Eddie.
He's got his tiny voice.
Venom.
Oh.
Venom.
Venom 2, The Revenge of Venom.
Venom 2, Son of Venom.
Oh, Venom 2, Venom Returns. I am not going to enjoy any of the movies that you pick, am I?
No.
I
Neither
thi-
will I, but
I picked Daredevil because Daredevil was at least enjoyably bad. I had a good laugh watching
I
that
have a
film.
good few enjoyably bad
I
movies to pick.
had a good laugh while I was watching that film.
I have a good few we can pick.
I do feel like we should sign off with an idea of what we're gonna watch next, just to kind of prepare people. Because I mean, we can't really show clips. I mean, I might show a clip here or there of some of the dumb bullshit that Bullseye does throughout this video, but I can't really show a ton of clips. So
As long as they're less than 7 seconds, you're okay.
less than 7 seconds, yeah. I don't even think I'm gonna bother using audio from the clips.
No, don't.
This is not a good idea, especially not in Daredevil.
Just have some like royalty-free music in the background. I have no idea what we could do next. This is the thing; it's kind of hard to pick now.
What if I give you a couple options? What if
Okay.
I give you a couple options and we just pick from those, and that's your pick for next time, and then next time, you might have a completed list next time, so you make a proper pick
Yeah.
or something like that. So let me have a read through my list. So we've got the Blade movies, we've got Ghost Rider, we've got the Fantastic Four movies.
Fantastic Four, you say?
Fantastic Four. We've got
I'm
Hellboy.
not gonna. Hang on. Fantastic Four. You've piqued my interest because I'm not gonna talk about the old ones. No, 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 no,
Oh
no,
fuck
no.
no, we're not doing
Oh,
2015. We
yes,
are not
we
doing
are.
that film.
Yes, we are.
I have
We're doing it.
refused to watch that
We are
film
gonna watch
for
it. We're gonna watch it.
years.
We're gonna do it.
Oh no.
You have no choice. That's the one I'm
Oh
picking.
no, Four Stick. Why? Why did I mention Fantastic Four? We could have watched Ghost Rider.
No.
Ghost Rider is amazing.
That's a
compared to
special
that.
one. That's a special one.
Oh no.
We need to watch it. It's done. I picked it. It's going through.
Oh no. You aren't even going to enjoy this.
I will.
Fantastic.
I seen this in the cinema and I was in bits when this came out.
What? You've seen
Yeah.
this film?
Yeah.
Oh, I managed to avoid it for so many years. I never intended on watching it.
You're gonna
Oh,
Cry.
I'm gonna suffer.
maybe with sadness or happiness, but we'll see what happens.
Oh Christ, why? Four Stick is not on my list. I
Stick.
never wanted to watch it. It wasn't even on my list. I forgot it
It is
existed.
now. It is now.
Oh God. Jesus Christ. I guess that's what movie we're doing next time. Is
Yes.
Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick.
So you can look forward to our sterling review of that next time, people. Ironically enough, this fucking this discussion has been going on for just as long as Daredevil, because that movie is an hour and 47 minutes, and we've been going on for an hour and 45 minutes. So. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to our this rambling about Daredevil.
I'm not
Don't
gonna
watch
enjoy
the
this.
movie. Don't watch the movie, but watch Fan Four Stick. We can all
Absolutely
enjoy
do
this
not watch
together.
Four Stick.
Watch Fan Four Stick. Trust me.
Watch Daredevil. Daredevil's like
movie of
fucking
the year.
Casablanca compared
Movie
to
of the
Four
century,
Stick.
I'd even say movie of the millennia. Fantastic
Daredevil.
movie.
Daredevil is like fucking Citizen Kane compared to that fucking film. Oh my god.
Don't give Daredevil that many compliments. Come on, man.
As compared to Four Stick, I'd watch Daredevil twice over Four Stick.
Daredevil and Elektra twice.
Yeah, well, no, not Elektra. Elektra, I'm never watching that film again. Jesus Christ. I've actually seen that film, but I haven't seen that film in like 15 years. I only ever saw Elektra once, but I saw Daredevil like 3 times. Because it was so bafflingly enjoyable. It's just so bad. Oh, God. We could have watched Blade. We could have watched Batman 89. God.
These are movies we have to save. All
Save
like
for
the,
what?
We have to watch some trash before we can get to the.
Do
fun
we?
trash.
Do we?
Yes.
Need
Fan
we
Four
suffer?
Stick's the movie I'm picking.
Oh, Christ. I've done this to myself. I shouldn't have mentioned Fantastic Four.
Nuh-uh. Shouldn't have.
Oh, God.
Should have kept it quiet.
Fucking pain. Oh, God. Well, anyways. That's us, people. That is our discussion of Daredevil.
Thanks for watching,
And-
everyone.
And yeah, I hope you enjoyed our suffering because, we're going to be suffering even more next time. Is Four
It's
Stick
gonna be
even on
great.
Netflix? I think Four Stick is on Netflix. It keeps recommending these shit movies to me now because I watched Daredevil. Oh, Christ. I hate my life. Oh, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Christ.